Hello everyone and welcome back to Nightmares in Nature. As always, I'm your host Mr.G. Today, we're talking about one of the most feared animals in all of Africa. It's probably more feared than both the lion and the crocodile combined. That's right, today we're talking about the ferocious creature known as the hippo. Hippopotamus amphibius, is a mammal. It's an herbivore, it's described in 1758, and it lives in the continent of Africa. Now, if you were to take a look at hippos and someone asked what their closest relatives were, what would you answer? I'm sure most people would say something like pig or elephant or rhinos, but all three of those answers are wrong because hippos are actually closest related to whales. Although that makes sense if you think about it, since both groups of animals are well known for their affiliation with the water. Speaking of, that is definitely what hippos are most famous for. Because hippo skin is incredibly sensitive to heat, hippos will spend all of their days in the river in order to avoid it. In fact, their only time they feed is at nighttime when there's no sunlight and therefore no heat. And speaking of, hippos actually eat surprisingly little considering their size. They only eat about 1% of their body weight a day, compared to cows who eat 2% of their body weight a day. Yeah, I know that number sounds small, but trust me, when it comes to body weight, that makes all the difference. If a hippo is on land for too long and can't find water, then they will actually secrete a sort of sunscreen-like substance from their skin. It's a pink liquid that helps protect them from the heat. Yeah, that does sound terrifying. But as we'll see, that's not the only scary thing about these guys. Hippos are very intolerant of other animals invading their pods. While hippos will generally tolerate each other with one exception that I'll talk about later, hippos do not like other animals, especially predators. In fact, hippos have been observed biting crocodiles in half. Yes, really. Crocodiles, one of the most feared creatures in the river, will often get bitten in half by hippos if they go near them. And by the way, hippos are herbivores, so they don't even eat the chunks. They just let them float back in the river, probably as a warning for other crocodiles. Now, hippos are indeed social animals. They do travel in herds, or pods in this case. I think that's the proper term. I can't be bothered to look it up. Let's just go with herds for now. And these herds are mixed of both males and females. And the leader of these pods tends to be a single dominant male. However, much like lions or elephant seals, sometimes the male's position is challenged by a younger male, at which point the hippos will engage in combat. And let me tell you, these fights can get bloody. In fact, the loser will often be fatally wounded and bleed to death. When hippos fight, they both bite each other, which, by the way, I forgot to mention earlier, hippos can open their jaws incredibly wide. So yeah, that's fun. But in addition, hippos will also slam their heads into each other like hammers, trying to defeat each other. So yeah, hippos can be very brutal towards each other, if they want to be. Now, one thing you might have heard around a lot is that, quote, contrary to popular belief, hippos are actually too heavy to swim. However, I looked into the subject, and it's actually pretty inconsistent. Websites like National Geographic and other sites like it say, no, hippos can swim. In fact, they're actually pretty buoyant. But a lot of other sites insist, actually no, hippos are too heavy, they don't actually swim, they just jump. And while yes, most of the waters hippos travel in is shallow enough that they can just jump through, I'm just gonna have to go with the fact that yes, I'm pretty sure hippos can swim. Because I've seen footage of them, and quite frankly, a lot of them looks more like swimming than jumping. So I'm just gonna go with the fact that they can swim. Another myth you might have heard about hippos is that they have pink milk. This is not true. Hippo milk is white just like any other mammal. The pink milk thing probably stemmed from the fact that, as I said earlier, hippos secrete a pink substance that acts as sunscreen, so people probably mixed up the bodily fluids there. That just sounds wrong. Oh yeah, you guys want to hear a pretty gross fact about hippos? Well, too bad. I'm gonna say it anyway. When hippos poop, they don't let it fall out onto the ground. Rather, hippos will instead swish their tail around, shredding the poop and sending it flying everywhere. Nature can be disgusting sometimes. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's look at the card. I can't actually find any errors here. And, unlike piranhas, they're actually pretty, accurate with their claim that hippos are dangerous. So, yeah, I, have to give this one a 10 out of 10 because there's no real errors here, and I can't really accuse them of fear-mongering since everything they're saying is in fact correct. Now let's talk about hippos' relationships with humans. Now, unlike the other two major large African mammals, the elephant and the rhino, hippos are not currently considered threatened by extinction. Well, yes, hippos are considered vulnerable. They are not endangered. There's a difference. So yeah, I don't think we need to be worried about these guys. Well, at least them dying out. I think that humans have plenty to fear about hippos enough. You see, hippos actually kill more people than both lions and Nile crocodiles. Yes, really. This mostly happens when people are boating, but the hippos see that as a threat to their territory, so they tip the boat over and kill whoever's inside. Hippo attacks can be very, very lethal. Since hippo bites, those things can pierce crocodile skin. You really think they can't crush you in half? Huh? Anyway, in addition, despite their large size, hippos can actually run at speeds comparable to horses. So yeah, you basically can't even run away from these guys, unless you get a really big adrenaline rush. Now, one of the main reasons hippos aren't as hunted as much as elephants and rhinos is because they don't really have anything that poachers can sell on the black market. They don't have tusks or horns or things like that, and their skin is pretty generic, so there's not really a demand for their skins. So, yeah, there's really no reason for poachers to hunt them. Although, of course, it's always possible that one of the main reasons that people don't tend to hunt these guys is because of how aggressive they can be to people in riverways. Okay, let's talk about something more positive. Hippos are a very staple animal at zoos. In fact, in the early days of zoos, hippos were actually some of the most popular animals to have in zoos. It's probably because of their goofy appearances or something like that, but I don't know. But yeah, even today, hippos are a very common sight in zoos. Speaking of their appearances, because of their goofy appearances, in media, hippos will often be portrayed as very stupid animals or very goofy animals. But as we've talked about throughout this entire video, hippos are very, very dangerous animals. So, don't believe what cartoons tell you. Hippos are not subservient to lions. Hippos can kill lions. Then again, I guess also theoretically a zebra could if they kick them hard enough, but whatever, I'm getting besides the point. Okay, one last thing before we wrap this up. Hippos have actually become an invasive species in Colombia. This is because of the drug lord Pablo Escobar, who had a bunch of pet hippos who ended up escaping into the wild. So yeah, now Colombia has hippos. Lovely. Well, that's all for this episode of Nightmares in Nature. Next time, we'll be swapping back to... Hey, wait a minute! Mac, what are you doing here? Oh, have you forgotten? You keep telling me I can be in these videos, but you keep lying to me because you're a stupid liar. But, well, look, I'm sorry, but I just keep forgetting. No, you do not just say that. You know what? I'm being in the next video. I want to do bears. But I've already done 4 Nightmares in Nature, and I have to switch over. A bull, a crap. I don't care. Just keep doing this, or else you will get it.